welcome back to my channel. It is Christian here, and you're tuned in for more of my 2 cents. Hopefully you guys have had an amazing week. I have, and I'm ready to bring you guys some more great content so we can have more great conversation, dialogue. I see more people are finding the channel, honey. We are slowly creeping up towards the 300 mark, and I think that's when we'll be ready to join in on the journey of getting to 1K. Okay, I'm going to be very aggressive about that 1,000, all right? Because I don't know why. I mean, it just would be a great milestone. So let's do the 500, and then let's do the 1,000, and then we'll go from there and take over YouTube. Yes, I'm really excited because as we're growing and as I'm sharing more and I'm learning more and I'm expressing more comfortably, I definitely want you guys to know that you can send in suggestions. You can ask questions in the comments that you would like for me to make videos on, whether they be shorts or actually full YouTube videos. I love, love, love feedback. I love, love, love suggestions. And I want to hear your questions or comments on things you would like to see me give my 2 cents on. So don't forget to do that in the comments below. And next up, come on now. Join the channel, subscribe, like the video. I appreciate the few of you who do all the time. And I know that others of you don't think about it. You may be watching a lot of things on YouTube. But if you watch the video, just hit like or dislike, whatever, may touch your spirit. It will not offend me, okay? I just need to know how we're going here, how it's going, okay? And last but not least, very important, gotta make sure we get this in the way and not out of the way, are 3 points that I start with every time we do a video. Number 1, you're not alone. Number 2, you are not crazy. Number 3, God still loves you if you believe that God is real, okay? Just want to preface that because some of you may be watching these videos like, sis, cut it, cut it, cut it. Cut it. Woo! Religion, way too messy. You need to cut it. And in that event, then do you. Okay? From the title of this video, you guys should be very intrigued. Hopefully this will not be a long one, but I got a lot of points. So we might need to do a Saved, Single, and Satisfied part 2 because, yes, I think that's actually what's going to happen. I think I'm going to go through my first points because it's a lot of them. And then possibly do a part 2, but we'll see how I move through, and how the spirit hits me while I'm expounding. Okay. All right. And shout out to viewer and subscriber to the channel for the suggestion on covering up the table. I see you. Thank you. I took the suggestion because that black mark on the white desk was really starting to get to my inner man. I mean, I was not able to focus. I was getting very anxious. I had an attitude, and yeah, this came through. So on site, soft, nice and plush, we did that. Okay. Julianne, Julie. I can't remember the full name, but thank you. Shalom. I believe that's your name. Julianne, shalom. Thank you, sis. I appreciate your suggestion. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the topic of today. Now, I got married at 21, but I was single. Okay, I was single for a little piece of time. Now, these are not going to be, this topic is going to be one that I'm going to speak from. I'm not going to be able to speak from it from full experience because I was a young adult in church, and I would say I kind of was expected to be single until I got married because I was young. But I lived with a mother who never dated after her and my father divorced. Okay, my mother ain't never talked to a man on the phone. My mother ain't never held hands with nobody. I for sure know she ain't kissed nobody. And Lord, we're not going to even get into nothing else after that. Okay, just never not has happened. Okay, it just ain't never happened. I never not mean to did. It just hasn't taken place. And so I can speak to this from a genuine, authentic place of what I watched lived in front of me. And I'm grateful for her commitment and her sacrifice in living that lifestyle where we were not around a lot of men at all who were not family or in church with us. There was no one else to come through our doors ever. She really did make us, her 4 children, her priority and her focus. She sacrificed her own desires. I'm sure that she's had throughout life to be loved, to be affectionate, to be nurtured that way by a man, to focus on her children and to give her all that way as well as to God and dedicate and commit her life to God as well. And while it is definitely admirable and, we don't have any horror stories of anyone doing anything to us, targeting us, sexual predators or anything like that, You know that there's a void there, and you understand that the teachings in most churches are that you should live a life that is chaste, no sex before marriage, no sex outside of marriage, all of those things, suppressing desires and certain things being sinful, your thoughts, watching adult videos, sexual content, lusting after people, all of those things are shunned and looked down upon. And I've done a video earlier about dressing sexy in church and, all of those things, and how you're usually taught in religious organizations that you are to suppress a lot of your desires. And they're human urges. They're human urges, and there's nothing wrong with them. But I'm not going to get to my points. But I wanted to preface by saying that I can't speak from being single, saved, and satisfied from a front row seat, because I did get married at 21, but I've watched a lot of women go without a man, okay? And act like they don't want one, don't need one, and that's disgusting, because they love the Lord. Oh, God is their man, okay? God in their pastor is their man. And that's a video I may have to do. Is your pastor your man? Because it just seemed like in people's hearts, they cape for their pastor more than they would their husband if they had one. Some of them don't even want one because he ain't like pastor. I've heard that too. But that's another video for another day. But trust me, I got a lot of 2 cents to say. So let's get to my first point. Not dating without the intent of marriage. Where will I meet someone then? Okay. When you're in church, you are taught, we heard it from our pastor growing up, that you shouldn't be caught, seen, entertaining any man who does not have the intentions of marrying you. Don't bother her if you're not going to marry her. And I'm going to tell you where this is a problem. There's no logical way that you can know if you're interested in anyone if you do not date them. If you do not pursue them, if you do not get to know them outside of church, outside of the environment of just worship and fellowshipping in a spiritual setting. There has to be more to that. There has to be more depth and more substance in that relationship, and a better foundation to determine if this person will be a good fit for your life, where you're going, what you want to do, and how you want to get there. And I think that a lot of people are so spiritual minded that they're no earthly good when it comes to relationship building and actually being a benefit and an asset to the individual they plan on drawing into their actual life. And in church, it is cloaked with control, and the spirit of everything you're doing is being watched, and you should be doing with intention. Well, I'm grown and I don't want to marry the first person I talk to, right? And I don't want to miss out on pursuing or showing interest in someone because I don't want to marry her, and I don't know that right away. So it's so unrealistic when you're in church, because dating without the intent of marriage. So I ain't gonna say none of you did, because I don't intend to marry you. And when you have this being pumped into people, men to be exact, and women as well, because if a woman is hearing this all the time, she don't even want nobody to waste her time if they don't want to marry her. Having a first conversation on any date, take the religion out of it. Going on any first date with someone and asking them what are their plans in the next 5 years, do they see themselves married, is like, what are we talking about? Girl, I just met you. Can you please pick your meal for the 2 for $25? Now, I don't know if I'm going to marry you. I don't know. I don't know if I want kids, but that's a way to see and dig for information, if you will, if you are a viable option. If this person is really sitting here talking to you with the intent to marry anyone in 5 years, and that determines how you plan on engaging with them, seeing them again, interacting or whatever. But that's wrong, because that's applying pressure to someone who has the freedom to choose if they want to move on from you. Okay. Next point. So being single, saved, and satisfied in church. My God. If you only have the choice of choosing a man from the ministry, girl, stop. Okay? Don't make the men in church your only choice. Don't do that. Because they be lying, and some of them be liking the pastor. They be lying and liking. Liking and lying. The pastor. I cannot express enough that every man in church is not a man of God. I just can't express this enough. Church attendance does not verified, validate, blue check like Twitter or Instagram or the Facebook salvation. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they go or not, if they know the Lord. And the scripture about not being unequally yoked is some bull. Because there's a lot of people in church who are unequally yoked. Like, there's a lot of people in church who are unequally yoked outside of church, in church, at work, at the gym, wherever. Like, and I'm just saying that based off of what the belief system is, because I don't subscribe to the unequally yoked statement at all. Because I feel like it's just one of those things where you can be with someone who doesn't have the same belief system as you. That happens every day. My husband and I don't believe all of the same things. He believes I be wrong. I don't. See, we don't believe the same things. It's that simple. So are we unequally yoked? Right? He doesn't believe that he needs to season food as strongly as I do. He wants to still see white chicken, right? A little light-skinned chicken. I want Cajun. I want black-owned chicken. Are we unequally yoked? So if we're unequally yoked on the things of God, I don't believe the way that you do. I don't think that these things are a sin. I don't subscribe to the same, conviction about listening to certain music, going to the club, drinking a little sippy sip, puffing a little puff puff. Is that unequally yoked just because? But this person can be in the same church as you, sitting on the same teaching as you, have the same information as you do from the scripture, and still live a life separate from what you live in church. So if we're choosing men from church settings, listen to me, honey. You're not going to know what you're getting until you get it to the crib. All right. So like I said, be careful with the choosing men in church, because they be lying and they be liking they pastor. Seen both of them. All right. Okay. So know what you know, and don't always let that be a prerequisite for whether or not this man is who God sent for you, quote unquote. Because church attendance ain't never meant saved, delivered, right? Set free, kind, nice, loving, affectionate, nurturing. A lot of these people actually isolate emotional contact and lack emotional awareness straight from the Lord house. All right. If the pastor is the men in the church, okay, so if there are men in the church and the pastor is the only male influence over those men in ministry, this is a struggle for those in church who are saved and single. And I pinpoint these points because you think that you're getting a man after the heart of God. Like you see your pastor loving his family and calling his wife up and doing all this stuff. They dressing alike and matching in color and all of this. This stuff looks great on the outside. Go and look at Instagram and YouTube and see these couples who start YouTube channels together and what it ends up. Go and look on Instagram and see all these people that used to have matching cars, Lamborghinis, G-Wagons, Mustangs, whatever, Maseratis, and matching Jordans, and see where they end up. Child, Future, Sierra, remember, where are they? All of this cute couples goals stuff and whatever, that stuff don't last. So when you're looking at your pastor and his wife, you need to pull her to the side and say, baby, I just got one question. In my T.I. voice, is you happy? Okay. Why you want to go and do that? Why you want to go and do that? Shout out to T.I. for the song and the quote. Love, is you happy? Because I see the matching outfits. But I just want to know, before I go for his armor bearer, who called him a phone, is you happy? Because I know that my man, my potential man, is close to your man. And if your man ain't nothing, I don't want him. Because see, that's a heavy influence. You know that when men are devout Christians and they're really heavy in ministry, which is not a lot of men who usually are, but they usually take the most influence or have the most love and affection towards their pastor. Reckless love. Like, will hide the body for my pastor kind of love, right? If that's who you're dealing with, you're going to suffer accordingly, because that man is not going to have any real accountability if their pastor is guilty of the things that he's doing to you at the crib. Ooh, okay? Do your research. And if your pastor is the biggest and greatest and most influential person in the man's life in church, run. That's all I'm saying. There will be no accountability if your pastor is guilty of these things. And if your husband looks up to him like he's his daddy. And I've heard men in church call their pastors dad. Disturbing, sick. And it's giving, come get your son. All right. Next, dating musicians. When you're saved and single and your options are those who are in church with you, the men on the stage usually take precedence. They take high priority. That is the clout which all women in church chase, okay? Men on an instrument, drums. Baby, at this point, if you up there just ringing a triangle, you can get it. You can get it from at least 10 women in the congregation, all right? And I mean all at the same time. You don't have to pick one and dump one. You can get it all. Just with the little triangle. Ding! They give it up. Musicians have a special sauce on them. I'm not going to call it an anointing because it's hoism. But they really do have something about them that draw people to them. Women, and I think it's the power element, like just being seen, being out there. Maybe they're just more attractive when they're on their instruments. Maybe it's just that everybody's looking at them and, enjoying the music when it goes forth. And it's just that position of it all. And I think that women innately, we just like men who are doing something. That's why, like, it's out there that women love to see men working with their hands. Women love political figures, right? Women love pastors. Women love principals, like CEOs, boss men, powerful, influential, impactful, highly sought after men. Men's. We love the men's who be doing things. They do. And musicians fall into this category. If you play an instrument, he's going to mess up your life. All right. And now that I'm speaking from experience. My husband is a musician, and that's how I met him, in my uncle's church. Playing the keyboard, child. Playing the keyboard. All right. Playing the keys. They don't call it the keyboard, the keys. I got the keys. And guess what? He took me through hell and back. We back. We at the back part of the story. But he took me through hell when we were dating. All right. So much so that I don't even know how we got married because it was bad. He was a bad person. He really, really was. And I'm not here to give you no cap about it. But thank the Lord for the disconnect, because he actually got better once we left church. Woo! He did. Well, that church. But that's another story for another video. Musicians have this thing where kind of like athletes. And I left that out too. Women love men in power and position, and athletes are definitely falling in line with that. So you think about your musicians from the standpoint of like rock stars and celebrities and all of that. Those men are highly sought after because they are visible. You can be the drummer. You can be the guitar, the bass player. It don't matter. You have appeal. Sex appeal, if you will. You just have appeal. You're appealing. People are attracted to it. And so that usually brings a lot of heartache and headache to women who are dating or in relationships with musicians in church, because they have their pick of the litter. Women are going to be coming up to them trying to sing them notes, right? Trying to be all cool, cute and flirting. I've seen it all at the front of the church, y'all. Women are relentless sometimes when they're interested. When it's a very slim selection, and don't let that person have interest in you, then women are going to go cray-cray about that, because that's the only viable option. So sometimes picking outside of your ministry is the best thing you can do, because once you get that person and those women or some of those people who liked him before he picked you are still there, you and your relationship may be a target for disaster to strike, because they still have interest. So I don't think that everybody going to the same little section of the buffet is a good idea. That's all I'm saying. Put your plate back and wait till they refreshing, honey. Or go on over to the salad side, because everybody over here for the fried chicken. And musicians are giving fried chicken right now. And it ain't a lot of pieces. So you may as well go on over here, because he gonna serve who at the chicken stand. All right? Period. He gonna give everybody some chicken. But you go ahead and get your salad. Fresh, clean, ain't nobody messing with that. And you will be good. You will eat. Okay? You'll be abundant in your meal. Because ain't nobody trying to mess with the salad, but everybody wants the chicken. Remember the reference, all right? Okay, so I've heard of pastors and ministries who actually set up people on dates, like ministry assigned relationships, arranged relationships, where the pastors literally are the only ones that can tell you who you can and cannot date, who is good for you and who's not. The God showed me X, Y, and Z was your husband. And these people literally pursue relationships. Adults pursue relationships based off of what their pastors tell them the Lord showed them concerning their marriage and love life. I do not believe that a bit more than I do somebody went to the moon. It's a different video. But I'm telling you right now that it's unacceptable to let your whole future, your love, your vows, the vows that you take before God be determined, the relationship that you take those vows in, the person you take those vows with, to let that be determined by your pastor is extremely unacceptable and a checkout from your own mental strength and capacity. Because there's no way that I would be sitting in church not talking to an individual that I'm interested in or that's interested in me because pastor didn't approve of him. If you don't get out of my face. Okay, now if I'm old enough to get an Amex and I got a good enough credit score, I can definitely pick my own husband. Right? I can definitely date who I want. But that's people's way of deciding who they're going to be able to control. If I know this man is to me, and I picked this good sister over here for you, I know I ain't finna have no problems. But then you have men in these churches who get in relationships with these women who were suggested, referred, and set up for them, and they dog these people out. Or they're incompatible. They're living in the house with strangers because it looked good. And don't let it be a pastor's child, a PK, a pastor's kid that we're talking about. Because you really just gonna go with them because of who they are. And be in a loveless, lifeless marriage. But you can't do anything about it because it's arranged and how it would look. There are a lot of people sitting in church right now, married and unhappy, because if they would get out of it, it would look bad. But they're in it feeling bad. They're in it disgusted. They're in it unhappy. I'm not doing any of that to save face for any of you. Don't do that. Arranged marriages have no place in church at all. If anybody comes to you and says, the Lord showed me that you were my wife, or the Lord showed me that was your husband, run. Because I've told y'all before, God is not out here doing Zoom calls and not conferencing you in on your own life. That's just my take on it. I don't take nobody's word about my life except for my word. Maybe my husband saying that he saw something concerning both of us, but for the bulk of it, I now take accountability and I X out anybody else's message that wasn't forwarded to me concerning me. The last point, and then we are going to roll over into video 2 to talk about some myths and some truths concerning saved and single, is that being treated, and I know this, and some of you are going to be able to relate with it painfully, but being treated like a woman of the night by married women in the church because you're single and they feel threatened. This is real life, you all. This is really happening all around the world. All around the world. Women in church who are single are often not seen as trustworthy or anyone they want around their husband, their fiance, their boyfriend, or whatever, because she's available, right? He's not available in technical terms if he's engaged or dating. And they're seen as threats because of the freedom there, or them possibly being interested in this taken individual. And so there's a very negative connotation or look over at surrounding the singles ministry in church. Married people don't want to fool with single people at church. It's actually taught that way in most ministries, that single women should not be engaging or entertaining and talking to married men. And I get that from the perspective of, yes, outside of church, like there should be no personal contact being made to the point of where you're kikiing, laughing, mean for lunch, doing this stuff, going out to the movies together. You should not be doing that with the married individual. However, if we go to church together and I'm talking to you after service about anything, I should not be looked at as some kind of Jezebel or whatever, because I'm having a regular discussion with you. If your wife or somebody feels the need to come stand next to you to watch or to see if what we're talking about, or to keep me or, any other woman, I'm not single, but I'm just using myself for example. If you have to put yourself in a place around your husband or your significant other because there's a single woman around, you have other problems or concerns that you should be addressing. There has never been a time when my husband and I were in church and there were single women talking to him that I felt the need to go interject myself or stand there or watch them from the other side of the church. I didn't care, right? Because I knew who I was married to and that wasn't a concern of mine. Also, it just boils down to you trusting the person you're married to. And even if that is the intent of a single woman, that won't be the response of your married husband. You see where I'm going with this? And if it gets too out of hand, there's even more trust there between you and the man you're with, because then he should inform you, sister so-and-so is acting up. She doing X, Y, and Z. I've had it happen to me. I remember some specific examples, and I'm going to give them to you before I close out and go to part 2. So my husband, I told you guys before, in the church we were in Mississippi, we did a lot of stuff, right? He was over the music. He was over the media. He was over the marketing. All of that stuff, all of it. Well, he was in the sound booth one Sunday, I remember specifically, and he had cut his hair that Sunday morning. And there was a woman who decided she was going to rub his head. And I don't know if he remembers this or not, but sis, I do. I remember. She was way older than him as well. I think Courtney and I were like 24 or 23, 24 at the time. And she was well into her 40s and had 5 kids. She was older, single, whatever. And we had a good relationship. I mean, we were cool. I talked to her. She wasn't a stranger. But when I looked over there and I saw her rubbing that man's head, it was giving, my God, soon and very soon, she is going to see her king. What are you doing? What are you doing? Did I get up? Nope. Did I ever approach her and say anything? Nope. Didn't have to. He got her. He got it together. She didn't do that no more. It was no more physical contact made. I ain't had to say nothing to him. I didn't. And it's a problem. I also had another single woman to tell me that she had to catch herself because when Courtney walked past, she smelled his cologne and it made her want to do something. Now, she didn't say she wants to do something to him, but she was just saying that the scent of the cologne made her go back in time and feel some kind of way about a good smelling man. Now, I don't advocate for women being shunned or treated differently because they're single in church, but I'm telling you right now the things that I've experienced in church from some single women. All single women are not like this. But these are some of the people out here who are representing the singles committee thrown back into the ocean. This is a catch and release, baby. Some of these single women, release them back into the ocean. The lake, the pond, the river, the stream, whatever it may be. So it's not like some of these things are without merit, but everybody does not fit that storyline. Those were just 2 instances. But I never had to step in or act out because I trusted the person I was with, that I trusted and believed in the man that I had married. And that's where that comes in. Relationship is what it's going to take, the foundation and the principles and the engagement that you have. But that doesn't mean that women in ministry, because majority of congregations in church are majority women. It's women. Single women to be exact. Or women who are married and come to church without their husbands, because most men do not subscribe to organized religion. They don't like no man telling them what to do. They don't like that leadership stuff. No. I'm good. Go ahead. I'll have the food ready when you get back. I've been in grill by the time you get back, Susie. You know what I'm saying? Erica, Taylor, Samantha. Because I ain't going up in there. That man ain't doing it but taking y'all money anyway. These men be letting these women go off to church so they can watch their game in peace. Like, don't ask me to take out the trash, cut the grass, or do nothing. Go on to church now. And I'll see you when you get back. And we'll go out to eat, okay? All right. Get you a little ice cream that you like. Like, they don't play that. So when you're single and you're in church, It is a way for you to literally navigate the dating world. But these are some things that I've encountered. These are some things that exist. These are some things that are happening, and that's my 2 cents on it. Now, the next part of this video is going to be some truths and some myths that we're going to bust concerning being single, saved, and satisfied. Because the satisfaction ain't what's really giving for some of y'all who live in a celibate life, or trying, or struggling. Keep failing. How about that? Just keep failing in celibacy, child. Anyway, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. I've enjoyed talking about it and expressing some points and sharing some of my experiences with the matter and the topic. If you guys have enjoyed the video, don't forget to like the video, comment on the video, and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate and enjoy all engagement and interaction, and I cannot wait to share more of my 2 cents with you. Catch you guys in the next video. Bye.